Hello folks and welcome back to the channel. Today we're at the Human Comedy. We're in version 1.27. Very soon around the corner we're going to have version 1.29, which is the PSVR version, come out. We're skipping 1.28, but with that we know this is a good set. We know we're not getting any updates in 1.29 in terms of physics, etc. It's all going to be about PSVR. So we're going to run through the Human Comedy missions. The car is going to be the Roadster Touring car, which is the default pick. We have a PP target of 600 and we're using racing tyres with wets. It's a whole fleet of the Roadster Touring cars. Here we have the car today, folks. It's a Roadster Touring car, as said. The skin is supplied by JB at GTP Addictions. We're going to see some scenes from the game and also some scape scenes. So this is the scheme. It's got different wheels on this side of the car by the looks of it. No, they're just showing grey, slightly white in the light provided there, and with my racing number on. And JB does one for virtually every race as we get the channel to grow and get the online presence there. If you want to join us on a Friday night, we do some racing in lobbies, private lobbies on the servers. And if you're on my friends list, you can take part. So there it is, black, grey and white with a flash of red. But we'll hand you back to the studio now. So what we have, folks, with the setup is a PP of 59997, 237 brake horsepower. We're using racing hards to start the race, fully customizable suspension, fully customizable diff. Everything is set as standard. We've not changed anything. Racing transmission set to 260 there. I'm thinking I'd like to push that up to 300. And that's where I'd like that to be. 100 output on the ECU, which is fully customizable. Ballast at 0, power restrict 100. And then the rear downforce, which we've tweaked a little bit just to make the back end that bit more stable and try to get it to the full 600. With that extra downforce, it will help in the wet, but what you want to, if you want to just mess around, you could probably get that to 600 if you wanted to. I'm not too keen on the numbers, so not too bothered. Air cleaner racing, sports brake system, racing brake pads, then we've got the engine balance tuning and the increased body rigidity. So with that, let's get to the track. So then, folks, here we are at the track. So let's have a look at the ranking board. I'm top of the tree with Mr. Maguire on 57 laps, both on 57. Are we going to push for 58 laps today? Well, we'll talk about strategy shortly as we're doing the laps. But ultimately, that 57th lap, I was last time around about 30 seconds short. So what we know is later on in the race it's going to rain hard, and we've got to make the choice between wets and semis. I only want to pit as minimal times as possible. Every pit stop is worth about 30 seconds. So if we're going to pit 3 times, that puts us at a minute laps. It puts us approximately at 57.5 laps. So the only way to get that 58th lap for me is to pit stop twice. We lose a minute. But I don't know how we can get 30 laps when we've only got 14 or 15 laps of fuel. You can't slow the car down to be able to actually get there. So it's going to be tricky, this one, especially when you're a traction controller like I am. But we're still top of a friends list, so let's not worry about that. On the top 10 stars you can see there's a 59 lapper. That must have been done way before any major changes. But you can see all these guys have got 58 laps. So they are non-TC guys, and they've done exactly what I'm going to do in sort of strategy, but they're just faster. They're doing 56-second laps, I reckon, because they do 20 laps, 4 seconds shorter. They've gained a lap already, so that's why they've done it. 4 seconds a lap, 20 laps. They're around the circuit. Happy days. But I'm not that quick. So anyway, settings for the race will be traction control 1, default ABS, manual transmission, everything else off. That's the usual, folks, nothing different. Controller settings, open configuration, sensitivity 0, force feedback torque 5, sensitivity 5. And with that, and as long as the video's running and I can see it going over there, we'll go straight into the race, folks. No hanging about. So first thing to do is brake balance, put that to the rear because we're not going to overly wear the fronts. You can see there the fuel saying 11.5 laps. We need to improve that, and what we also need to do is get through this traffic. So as it came off the brakes there, it said 14.5. It'd be good if we can get 15 laps out this first stint as we get up behind, who is it? Mr. Exposito. It's a lovely brown car, that. I do like that colour. He's really giving us a problem there. We'll get round him. Third gear gets us all the way down here, down to second, into the corner. The longer gears are so much nicer to drive. And if we can short shift a little bit, we get to conserve a bit of fuel. But when we've got this, it's nicer just to not change gear so many times. So first lap of a minute, which is probably half a second quicker than I'd normally do with the shorter gears, but let's see where we go. We're going to cut quite a bit of the track in this race. We're going to look to take as many shortcuts as we can, just to try and give us that chance of running 59-second laps. Oh, do we get a penalty there for cutting corners? That was a bit naughty, but we seems to be okay. We're up with Mr. Wilk already. Fastest lap I've ever done round here is a 58.8. See if we can use a bit of slipstream off Mr. Wilk there. He gave us a tap as we went into the corner, a bit unfriendly. Trying to get a straight line out, slower acceleration with the old. There's the 59.8, so benefit of using the longer gears is less wheel spin in the rain later on, because it's going to rain, and it's going to rain hard, folks. It's going to rain for a long time. We're going to be on, well, here's the thing, let's talk strategy. If we're going to get 14 lap pit stops, so we're going to pit at the end of the 14th lap. That was a bit unfriendly there by, was that Mr. Solis? If we're going to pit on 14 laps, that'll take us to the 56th lap on fuel. We know it's going to rain a bit, so we know we're going to be able to conserve a little bit, purely because we're going to be going slower. Because we're going to be going slower in the rain, we're going to use less fuel, so we might eke out that one lap. The question is, how do we make these pit stops shorter? Well, ideally, this first set of tyres we're going to use, if I can make that last 2 stops, that would be absolutely phenomenal. So we run the hard tyres all the way through to lap number 28. 28 would take us into the heart of the rain. So if we're in the heart of the rain, we can then get onto the inters, and I'd like to run inters for the remainder of the race. That was a bit of a wiggle to get past him, wasn't it? So that's what the plan is, folks. We're going to stop on lap 14, maybe 15, and we're probably going to get, see that just rolled off the 10 laps. So if we can stop on 14, 15, keep the same tyres, and then stop on 28 or 29, maybe 29 or 30. It's probably going to be 28 more likely. But if we can do that, we can then change to inters, and then we'll run intermediates all the way through, that one set of inters, all the way through to the end of the race. I don't think there'll be much opportunity to stop the second time, or on stop number 3. and change back onto dries. Now I've been thinking about it, and I've been thinking if we could actually do some pit stops that would match with the rain, ultimately the ideal would be that we, just before it rains, we actually change into the wets and then back to the slicks at the end. But I don't think we've got 15 laps after the rain. We might have, and we could probably go quicker, but it's coming off, because we've got to do a lot of overtaking. We'll be coming off the racing line and have to use the wet line in the slicks, and that is not friendly. That's not where you want to be. So all we've got to do right now at this point is just run consecutive laps. If we can run them in the 59s, if we can dip into the 58s, that would be tremendous. We've got a 59.148, fastest lap of the race so far on lap number 6. Well, that was lap number 5, but we're on 6, so this one doesn't feel that quick. We've got the back end just letting loose there. So one thing I didn't explain about the other facets of the setup are that we only get to change the rear wing here. You don't get the option of now wide wheels or wider profile. There's a 58.9 on lap 6. You don't get a wider profile wheel. You can change wheel size, but I don't. I keep them to the standard race size for the car because it is a race car. So I think it's worthwhile keeping the setup as it is naturally, and you don't get any penalty on your PP if you keep the wheels the same size. So we're going to use the rear wing high because that gives you a decrease in PP, and as you saw from the setup, we're using the lowest possible denominators on the setup, and we're just coming in just under the 600. So with that being the case, we're fairly quick here. You might want to use different gear ratios that suit your driving. I've been messing with the gear ratios to try and get much better economy. There's a 58.7, that's the fastest lap I've done in this race. Let's see if we can just... Ooh, borrowed a bit there, didn't we? Cut it a bit narrow. Also just had a message prior to this race to say that I'm ever so close on the time trial. That was a bit savage. Oops. Don't like to knock about my colleagues just that much, but you might come back at me. He did dive in deep, but I got a message from a subscriber telling me that I'm very close to not having gold on the TT. And the problem is, folks, I planned to do this last night, this race. I ran this race, but blooming sound didn't work, so I've done this race in an entirely different setup last night, but it gave me the opportunity to retry this and get this better. So I managed to run a 57 lapper last night with a slightly different setup. We've tweaked this setup again in an effort to try and do that 58 if it's at all possible. I did make a mistake in that race last night, and I slid off the corner the lap before I changed onto wets, which was a mistake, blatant mistake. It was a bad mistake. That's 0.3 up at this point of the lap. That's superb. Let's see if we can improve on that. See if we can be fast around this part of the circuit. There we go. Get a draft. So with that being the case on the TT, it's actually my wedding night tonight and my wedding anniversary. And it's Valentine's night, the night I'm doing this video, so really I shouldn't be here playing this. But I'm not playing this, I'm doing this for you guys, and there's a plan to get this to 58 too. If I can get the 57s, that would be even more tremendous. So I'm actually doing this when I should be doing other things, to be honest. And I've got to get that TT done, so as soon as I've finished this race and compiled this video, I'm going to be off to the TT to try and slip in a couple of tenths there, just to try and keep myself safe. It's actually moved every night this week, the TT, but I've been thinking I've been safe because I was like 2 tenths up. I'm now less than a tenth up, and I think I need to do a bit of moving and shaking and try and get myself a little bit quicker. So it's going to be a double video night. We're on lap 10. We're up to second place, just about to lap Mr. Romero. Let's see if we can go round him. There we go, nicely done. Just a little lift. We're 4.4 seconds behind the leader, and the skies are going grey, folks. That was a 58.7, sorry. Well, half a second slower than our previous fastest lap, which is my fastest lap ever on this circuit in this race, I believe. Oh dear, we left the circuit. Hopefully we won't get told off for that. We've lost a bit of time. But you can borrow a fair bit of track round here, folks. If you want to, you can play with the limits. The only thing you've got to be careful of and wary of is this track gets really greasy, wet, slick. Mr. Robillard just putting some time on you. And that's 11 laps, and that's how quick it is to put time on these drivers. Front left is the problem corner for tyre wear, so we just need to keep an eye on that. If we're going to make this car run the full do, we just have to be aware that that front left tyre is the critical tyre, so you've just got to be a bit compassionate to that front left. Look at that, 59.3, but that was a horrendous lap that last time round. We left the circuit after this corner, didn't we? So let's just keep it tight. It'd be nice to be in first place before we pit. Around about 2.7 laps to go, so it's only going to be 2 more. It looks like the leader stuck behind a gaggle at the back. There he is, Mr. Cookabun. See if we can either follow him through the traffic or see if we can lead him through the traffic. 3 blue cars all together, Mr. Bishop, Mr. Dalton, Mr. Cookabun. We were slow, we were wide round there. He's making progress. See if we can dive into this corner and outbrake Mr. Dalton. There we go. There's a message from Mr. NW. Not sure what the thumbs up is. I'm 100% sure he can't see this. I'm not live streaming it, am I? Please tell me I'm not live streaming this. I don't think I am. I've just pressed record. I'm not that dense. I say that. I spent all last night recording this blooming thing and the sound went on. So there's Mr. Cookabun. We're going to go down the middle here. See if we can just keep a wide berth so he doesn't nerf us off. There we go, we're away. We're into first place. We're going to get 1 more lap in. We're going to do lap 14 by the looks of it. And we need to then change over to the rain radar to see what the weather's going to be doing. So let's do that now. There is rain coming in, but it is incredibly slow rain. And I'll tell you something, folks, I've run this race 4 times over the last 4 days. I'm doing plenty of prep to try and get this right, and the rain has been exactly the same. It hasn't moved at all. It does the same thing every race, but we're running nicely underneath a minute every lap, nice and consistent. Now we're going to pit. Technique for these pits, just aim and go, folks. We're good here, we've got less than laps fuel. There it is, there's the reminder. We're just going to target there and just blast straight through. No braking. We're not changing tyres, so don't change. We're just going to let it fill up with fuel. We know the tyres are out the warmers, but not to worry guys, you can put them back. And we are the first one to pit. So Mr. Cookabun is there, Mr. Fraga's gone ahead, Mr. Lopez, Mr. Hazal. We're 15 seconds ahead of Mr. Miazano, so there's a possibility Mr. Miazano, Mr. Beauvoir have come into the pits, and we're away. 14 laps of fuel, 11.5 seconds stopped, and then the rest of the time was actually entering the pits, so we're out in 5th place. Now the ideal is we've got the undercut, we can make progress, and we can overtake every single one of these guys while they're in the pit. We're 13 seconds behind Mr. Hazal. We didn't change tyres. There goes Mr. Cookabun. So now, to find out if we've had a good stop or not, and he's on softs. So my guessing is he's also going to change tyres, which gives us a further benefit. Lopez has gone in, Hazal's gone in. So Fraga's now taken the lead. And it's looking mighty grey and gloomy. None of those guys have taken the fuel yet. Somebody down the pack's just gone that little bit early and pitted already. Don't know how he's been able to run those tyres. Well, I suppose he's been quite quick on those tyres, and that's another option you've got for these setup folks. If you want to sacrifice a little bit, you could probably run mediums, but you'd be changing tyres every time. But if you'd be doing 56s, maybe 57s, you're probably going fast enough. Looking down at the rain radar, we're now well into the rain. But if you look beneath me on the screen, you'll see the little rain gauge on the track, the water depth indicator. You can see it's not even on the measure, so this is relatively light rain. We're 10 seconds behind Mr. Fraga now. We're just coming down to overtake the guys, or lap the guys that we first started lapping. So this is the second time we'll overtake Mr. Exposito and Mr. Portilla. Mr. Portilla was always keen into this corner. He's normally driver of the old big American muscle car, the Viper. But he's been relegated down to the old Mazda MX-5 today as well. Doesn't seem to be his vehicle of choice. Mr. Anderson, we didn't see earlier, so he's come up through the pack, I think, from behind us. He's letting us go, he's giving us some width. Good on him. Try and make a fast line through there. We've got a heavy fuel load again, and we're past the best of these tyres, but if we just keep pushing. Mr. Fraga's in the pit, some 9 seconds ahead, so we're catching. It looks like we're heading to the other side of the rain, so the light rain that came really hasn't had much of an impact. He's not taking fuel on board yet, he's got 4%, so we're going to get past him nice and early. Mr. Wilk is not going to give us any room. Blue flags, my friend, blue flags. Come on, take note of the marshals, they're doing a valiant job. And if you are a race marshal out there, and I know this is a game only, but if you are a race marshal, well done mates, you are a key part of motorsport. One of the most undervalued positions in terms of payment. The guys get nothing for going to the track and doing their duty. They probably see some of the most horrendous incidents. They deal with the most horrific stuff out there at the track. Every one of them does it with a smile and a laugh. And if you go with a group of guys like I did, you would all just, it's camaraderie that makes it. Great group of guys. As I say, valuable, undervalued item at the race circuit, the marshal. Massive thank you from me, guys. Keep waving them blue flags for me though this afternoon, please. Here we go then. We're on lap 19. We've got rain, but nothing on the rain gauge. We're back into the, well, we were running 59s with just one tyre in the minute. We need to just get back to the 59 seconds. Every lapse, every second underneath that target of a minute eats into those laps. So it cost us around about 26 seconds that pit stop without a tyre change. Here's Mr. Bishop. We just go around the outside of him, increase our line, open the steering wheel. Let's see where we go. Almost 19 minutes of the race gone, and we're on lap 19. So this is fabulous stuff. As we go on to lap 20, that'll be roughly 21 minutes done with one pit stop, which is, it'd be great if we could run to the 20th lap, but I don't know how we can get that sort of consumption out of the car and keep the speed going. Just got to keep smooth and just repeating those laps, lap after lap after lap. But also try and do it in the rain. But we're going to run these tyres all the way to the bottom. We're now out of the rain at the bottom of the cloud. If you look to the rain radar at the bottom of the screen, you'll see we've moved out of the cloud, so there's no rain at all now. It's just a little slightly greasy track. And then it looks like we're going to head back into rain, into the same cloud bank, but the second half of it. The crowd looks to be quite sparse at the circuit today, which you'd expect on variable weather, one would suggest. 59.6, that's good. Within the target time of 59 seconds. It'd be beautiful if we could run 58s, but it's going to be 59s, I think, for this stint. And then we're going to be looking into pit in sort of 7 laps time. We've got the back end moving around there, use of the first gear to try and slow us down a bit. 21st lap, 39 minutes gone, so we're kind of on track, we're kind of round about where we want to be. It's going to be incredibly difficult for a TCer like me to get that 58th lap. It's a matter of less than 2 minutes stationary, that's the thing, 2 minutes of lost time. So we've already lost 24 seconds, look, because of the pit stop. So we've got around about 1 minute 36 seconds of stopped time. What we've got, and we know where the problem is, we've got 4 laps where it's going to be raining horrendously. And that's 40 seconds if we run those laps 10 seconds slower. So I wonder if it's time just to pop in as we get that massively heavy rain to go on to wets. But it's an extra pit stop. But it's a pit stop, drive in, change tyres, drive out. It's a massive call. Back end slid then. We've gone really wide. Holy moly. Still a 59 though. Here we go, we can start to see the rain coming in now. We're about to pop into the rain clouds and it's about to get a little bit treacherous, I think. Mr. Yamanaka, he's done a nice drive. He's number 44 as well. Well done, mate, on the old 44s. There's 2 of us running 44 number plate today. Must give a big shout out to JB for the skin today. It's much appreciated, mate, always appreciated. I know I told you on Friday night I was doing this race and you dutifully delivered, and it isn't without asking, but for what you do for the channel, mate, thank you very much. It's much appreciated. Something I must remember to do. I must remember to include a little clip of the car in the garage with the new skin. I really like this one. Here's a proposal. How would you like a Sunday afternoon race around this circuit with subscriber race, 60 laps, 1 hour race? We could call it a 60 lapper or call it 60-minute race of this circuit. This car, 600 pp limit. I don't think I'd set rain though. I think I'd just do it on 600 pp limit and it's drive to the wind, 60 minutes. Bit of a Sunday hour-long race, Sunday afternoon. And here comes the rain. We're starting to get into it now. But if you like that idea, leave a note in the comments and we'll do it one weekend, rather than, we could actually do that on a Friday night. We could have like 20 minutes of qualifying to get the fastest lap in and then go for a 60-minute race on the Friday night. 60 laps round here in the dry, no rain. The Rain's really started to come, and it's starting to appear now on that rain radar, bottom left hand, rain depth gauge, bottom left hand corner, underneath me, just down there. You should see that rain gauge. Mr. Dalton in 19th place, coming around to lap you for the second time. I generally don't think, oh, he's going to go to the right. Why is he going over there? We've got around about 4 laps left till we're pitting again. We're going to change to the inters because the rain's not going to be that deep, I don't think. We're going to get some more rain. Mr. Bishop's out, he's just been in. Mr. Yamanaka's gone in. Just going to squeeze up the inside there. Still running solid 59s. Getting wet and slippy, but this car's actually holding on to it pretty well. That front left though is looking well ropey, I must say. I think I'm going to take it early, and I'm now going to change to the inters because I'm running pretty quick. I'm just 2 laps short of my target, but no, I'm going to do one more, and if I crash off I'm going to blooming smack myself in the side of the head. Because we're about to get into the heavy rain. I don't want to be in the heavy rain, but I want to be using the tyre of choice at the right time. But I know if I get to the end of the race without fuel, I'm going to stuff up big time. Down the first gear just to get it round the corner. Back end's tweaking. Did that nicely around the outside of there. He didn't give us the apex. Right, now we're into the rough part of the weather. Now I want to stop. But look at that, the other side of this rain, look. The other side of this rain is clear skies. I'm going to do one more lap, and it's probably a mistake, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to go to the end of my fuel. Caught the car there before it disappeared off. Everybody else is on, well, I see one person on mediums going to the pits now. We lost 4 seconds on that lap. We're probably making a mistake here. We probably should have gone that lap early. This is where we crashed last time, and I'm not going to this time. I'm not going to take it off into the grass. We're just going to get it round this corner. Going to run to the end of the fuel. We did crash, look. It's stupid. Now it won't go in the direction I want it to. Come on. So that's wasted seconds, look. 13 seconds wasted. I'm going to slap myself up the side of the head for this, because this is going against... It's not. I should be sticking to a concrete plan. And it's something I do say to you guys. Get a plan, stick to it. The car's all over the place, it's proper wet. It's a pit stop I've wasted there. There we go, 1.1 laps more possible, but I just can't do it with the grip that the car's got. We're going to change onto inters, and then we're going to refuel the lot. Not too frustrated with myself there, that's just ridiculous. We are 35 seconds ahead of the pack. They've all gone in. I'm guessing they've taken inters. There we go, fuel in. Relatively fast filling this refill, which is great for the race. It keeps you competitive. And there's the fuel. Let's go out the pits. So the track should be a drying environment all the time now. And what we do now, we're still in the lead by 5 seconds almost, 4.04, which is good. We're on the inters, and we're just going to keep this moving. Could have pitted 2 laps earlier, could have gone on the inters earlier, probably avoided that spin. But as you're going to see now, the lap times are going to be around that 103s anyway. We had a 130 in lap, and we're probably going to have a 130 out lap, so we've already used all our consumable time up. We had like 2 minutes consumable time to get that 58th lap in. Already in front of us we've got 50 seconds, 53 seconds, 53 seconds plus that 24 we said we'd already used. So 1 minute 27, we've got 33 seconds that we can throw to one more pit stop or any delays in the race. So what I know we're going to need to do is, I know we're going to need to get on wet tyres at some point. The wet tyres are going to help us through the next patch of rain that's coming. We're in relatively light rain now, light cloud anyway, light cloud cover. And as you can see, bottom left hand corner, straight below me, that rainwater depth gauge, it's the primary tyre again is back to the slicks. We don't want to stop for slicks at this point because A, we know it's going to rain again. Don't go on the grass. We know it's going to rain again, and we also know that we're going to need to be on inters or at least wets for that portion of the race. So we're just going to run as quick as we can. That was a 102, so that wasn't a bad lap, that last one out. We had a bit of dramatic final corner. We've got a dry line starting to work into the track now, and we're 8.5 seconds ahead of the pack, so we're still making progress, folks. If they go in and pit, ultimately we could go in and pit and go back to slicks, but you're going to be wasting 20 seconds doing that. Could we gain those 20 seconds back? We'd have to do 10 laps, 2 seconds quicker than we are now to make a gain for those 2 seconds. If we can just run 102s with these slicks on, 1015s, let's see if we can get down to a 1 second with the wets on. See that little hole in the rain cloud just appearing there next to us. The sun's obviously burning through, and we can see it down at this apex, this hairpin bend. We can see the sun climbing through. Mr. Lopez has gone to the pits. My guess is he's going to change back to slicks. Maybe everybody else would, but we pulled out to 10.75 seconds, so we're doing well here. We had our little pirouette, which we always seem to have. But I can't be 100% perfect all the time, can I? Just a little bit of a schoolboy rookie mistake. And look at the size of that hole in the cloud just growing. The sun's burning through there. Back end just stepped loose. Front left tyres not showing massive amount of wear, considering we've got 4 laps on it now. A 1016. Mr. Anderson, he's making his way through the pack. You know, he started 16th, 17th place. He's up to 12th, so he's running really well. He's running wide lines around the circuit. He's nice and smooth. He's a much smoother than us. Mr. Beauvoir, Mr. Gallo have gone to pits. Mr. Frag has gone in too. They're all taking down there. They've taken the top off on fuel as well. Mr. Anderson, don't get in the way, please. Now you're grass cutting. We'll go past you. Mr. Miazano, Mr. Hazal gone to the pits. We're 14 seconds ahead of Kukubun. There's definitely a dry line appearing here. But look, there's a rain coming again, folks. We don't really want to change off these tyres, knowing what's coming. Mr. Portilla. Mr. Kukubun's gone to the pits. So it's all a matter of whether they're going to make ground on us. We've got to keep pushing. Got to keep putting these times in. Oh, that back end was a tweaker then. .1015, 1016, 1015. So we're consistent on our lap times. It'd just be nice if we can run some 10s, because we're losing time to the lap time counter. We know there's rain coming. We can see at the bottom of the screen there. The track is not entirely dry, so we've just got to keep pushing on. That was a 1014, so we are getting faster. Got an itch. Don't need an itch right now. Mr. Solis, Mr. Fraga together. 4th and 9th, so Mr. Solis being a lap down on Fraga, and he's 2 laps down on me, or about to be. Come on. Take the flag. The rain's about to hit. Now, question is, am I going to go and pit and put wets on? That'd be an unplanned pit stop. We just almost got punted. Mr. Solis running 1016s, but it's about to get wetter. I think we'll be alright on these tyres, in all fairness. We've potentially got another pit stop. Well, we have got another pit stop. We know we need to, because we need to take the fuel on. We've got to stick with Mr. Fraga. He's trying to keep himself from being lapped. We've lapped everybody up to 4th place. I'm expecting these guys to go to the pits pretty much soon enough. We've got to chase him down. We're getting a little bit slower as the rain's coming on. I wonder who that is in front of Mr. Fraga, if that's Mr. Lopez. No, it's Mr. Dalton again. Mr. Lap Traffic. I'm starting to see green in the rain gauge. Mr. Lopez has just stopped. Mr. Dalton's going to the pit. Mr. Fraga's going to the pit. We're not. We're going to keep this pressure on. .44 seconds ahead of Cockabun. Fraga was on slicks, that's why I was struggling to catch him. But he's had to change up because he's off his inters, isn't he? They're going to wets, these boys. I saw a W appear. Fraga's gone to inters, so he's choosing what I'm on. How much do I reckon I've got left of fuel? I've got less than 1/3 of a tank. Cookabun's gone in on softs. Be interested to see what tyre he goes to. Rain is just progressing its way steadily up that rainwater gauge. Cookabun is doing what? He's not fueling yet. He's Still got his slicks on. We'll have to change to first. He's got fuel going in. I'm looking, he changed to inters, did Cookabun. So that's not a bad call, but he went early. Took all the fuel as well. It's just a question of whether it's starting to come down. We're still on the preferred tyre though, and it's going to get heavy. Braking's a little bit longer process now. On lap 39, I think we need to be on something like 42 before we're going to pit. And I don't know whether we need to go to wets and then change tyres again but not take fuel. But definitely do a 10-second stop. We've got the green coming. We need to fill up, don't we? Oh, that's not what we wanted. I think we need to pit and put the wets on. It's tremendously difficult. And then take a flyer for the pits again. 2 mistakes. I think we need to take the wet tyres. Can't get it through the corner. There's green rain coming. Let's take the pit now on 40. That means we've got 17 laps to do in 18 minutes. So I would genuinely like to. We're going to take the wets. Are we going to fill up with fuel? Yes, we are. And then at the known point, we're going to pit again at round about lap 50 and then take 8 laps of fuel. So we should be 20 seconds odd in the lead, even though we've wasted some time. It says we're on inters, we're on wets. We need to be really pushing on in this rain, even though the wets are going to struggle as well. We need to be driving like we stole it still. Because we're stopping, we've made an extra change of tyres and we're going to take an extra pit stop. Mr. Lopez. We're 1 minute 22 in the lead. Is that real? Even with that spin, we only did a 104. But that was an early stop, wasn't it, on the in lap? So Cookman's gone in as well. He's going to be changing onto wets, I would suggest. So we have changed from our original plan. Oh my lord. I thought I was going to manage to drift that round there, but the back end started to tweak on me. Everybody's going in for the wets. It's a wise choice, I think. And that's the 3rd time I've lost it there. Why is that? Is there oil on the track? We don't get oil on the track in this game. So that's Lopez, who's in 2nd place, who's just unlapped himself. Cars all over the place. So the difference from the last time I ran this race, having tweaked this setup, is I've got more power. I've got around about 18 brake horsepower more. Let's put the lap back on Mr. Lopez. And the last time I did this race, I did it on inters for the entire second half of the race, and I don't know how I managed that. Maybe I wasn't driving it quite so hard. What we've got to do though is we've got to spot the opportunity now for this track to dry up and put ourselves back on the inters or straight to the slicks. But to go wets to slicks, we've got to pick the exact right change point. I don't want to go slicks, inters, sorry, wets. Oh, we're going round here. Took a detour back behind Mr. Lopez. That was uncalled for, but I didn't want to spin it. But there we go. Right, we can see the end of the rain now. I think we've blown the 58 laps out the window. But things happen in races. I want the front end to drift. I don't want the front end to tie in. I want the front end to push quite a bit, but we've got much more grip at the front end, and the rain has gone right into... Oh no, look at that. What is it? I can't get away from Lopez. Such varying conditions. I'm properly messing this up. So the lap times I did last time were 110s. Now I'm on the 112s, 116s, which is appalling. Drive it properly. I know some of you do like to race against me whilst we're doing this. You'll put this on a separate TV and you'll race what I do. I'm pretty sure you'll beat me tonight, folks. But you should experience the same rain as I'm experiencing, because this race seems to be just repetitive, over and over and over again, the same, no real change. And with that being the case, it should be relatively easy to work out the correct strategy. Whoa, I got some grip there into that corner and bumped his Alon. Sorry, mate. Got to really slow down to this corner. The rain's about to start dying off. These wets are quite tricky to drive. The car setup does change with the different tyres you put on. It's quite difficult to control. It's quite difficult to balance the required driving style between one tyre type in this particular conditions. The inters drive really well. Miazano's now coming off the wets. What's he going to do? I'm going to do one more lap on these because I'm running consistent 12s. Is it right to go inters and then put myself in a position for slicks? I might do that now actually. Just go inters. We're on lap 45. We need 12 more laps. So if I fill up to 13 laps of fuel, we can drive to the end on inters, or we can stop again for slicks. I'm definitely not going slicks this time. Are we putting inters on? I can't remember what I clicked. 12 laps of fuel. There we go. Going all the way to the end. We've got IMs on, that's great. Let's get the speed up and let's start cranking these laps out, because the rain's about to stop now. We're 1 minute 09 in the lead, and I'll probably shortcut that part of the track. Oh, it drives so much better on the inters. To fuel again when we go in. We're just going to take the slicks when the track gets to the right point. Looks like we're going to do 5 pit stops. It's been a long time since we've done a decent lap time. is going to be the out lap, so it's not going to be indicative of our ongoing time, but let's see where we go. Mr. Solly's going in to drop off his wets. We're 48 seconds in the lead now from something that showed 1 minute and 9, so at least Mr. Lopez still maintains second place. Only 1.8 seconds off our fastest lap time there at that point in the track. So is this going to be in the 104s, really putting the pressure on? And I think the sky's going to clear up now. We can see the black clouds are being chased away. Where do we think we'll be? A 102, so that's good lap times. Not tremendously good though, based on a 58. But let's see if we can equal the 57. I think we're going to try and take the faster tyres as soon as they're available. Certain parts of the track, look, are drying out really nicely. I think I'm going to go and take the slicks early. I think I'm going to go now and try and put the pressure on. We'll just have to drive with it within ourselves. Try and put some absolute stinking lap times in. So there we go, look, the tyres, the depth gauge has not gone below. I'm going for slicks straight away. I know it's going to be particularly tricky. Hards 9.7, that's right, with the 48 laps at the top. So we're on, we've just got 8 minutes left, but we've got 10 laps to do, so we're going to be well short of time. Oh, I've miscalculated this, haven't I? But it's a way to do it, and what we're trying to do, guys, is make sure you know that this race is still possible with a decent attempt. Don't refuel, let's go. Oh, it's slippy coming out of the pit lane. Now I've got to keep it on the tarmac in the dry track, so I'm going to keep it off the curbs. Try and put some hooking great laps in. We're only 31 seconds ahead. Come on, guys. Blue flags and all that. Could have gone straight from wets to slicks if I'd known the track was going to dry up that quickly. Everybody's going in now, look. We're all seeing the possible advantage of running these times. Let's see if we can put some 57s in. A 57 would be a beaut. That was a 112, but it was an out lap. Got to run between those wet line parameters that we're starting to appear on the track. Off the wet patches. You don't need to hear that on Valentine's night, do you really? Happy days. Mr. Dalton, we've overtook you a few times today, brother. You've been nice and clean every time. Let's see how we go. We've got 6 minutes left. There's a likelihood we're not going to get the 57th lap in, having done these extra pit stops, and there's a lesson, folks. All these extra pit stops aren't worth it. We didn't need to change to wets. It was a 1-0. 56 laps will win it. We're only 32 seconds, half a lap ahead of Lopez. Seconds. There's no rain on the rain radar. Just 5 minutes left. We're probably the best. Oh, I've just lost it. As I looked up to try and see where I was on the timing effort and do a calculation, I just let the front end of the car stray. Got to keep my eyes on it. So we actually did a 102. So that's probably the second spin, and the pit stop was probably enough to change the process. We've still got the fastest lap of the race, a 58.288. See if we can just get in front of these guys. They're forming a bit of a chain and keeping out of our way. Here's Arno's gone in. I'm going to look up later in the corner. There we go, he just did that wet bit on the way out. That's what causes the problem. A 102 again, so that's because we were slow across the line, wasn't it? To go. It'd be nice to say we gained the last lap. We failed to gain the last lap purely because of the changing conditions, but we know what those conditions are, so that's not entirely true, folks. Mr. Lopez has gone in. He stayed on wets all the way through to this point in the race, so that's going to mean we're going to be potentially lapping him. He's not going to stop for long though, he's just going to bump and drive, and he's going to put like 20% of fuel in. Looks like somebody else is going to... No, everybody's just jockeying for position here. I'm just going to slide wide. That's terrible. Got into the wet bit and it just went wide. No, we're not going to make that 56th lap, 57th lap not. Which is a shame. Mr. Fraga's overtook Mr. Lopez now. I think Mr. Lopez managed to come out the pits. He's just in front of us. 53 seconds, so there's my challenge, to put Mr. Lopez behind us before the end of the race in the next 3 laps. And that's how far shy we are off the 57th lap, look. Six, 5, 4. Yeah, we're not going to get lap 57. But the point is to prove that we can get the 56 laps and win, which we're on with. The one thing I did forget to say at the start of the race, folks, is that you need to put the settings on hard. Run the game in hard settings. Have the competitive AI on, purely because they drive more sensibly. They drive like a race should be driven. They're still not brilliant, but they're better than what they are in the other levels, in easy or in normal, because they just drive dumb. You need to be driving against competitive, well, maybe not like the online we get at the minute, but you need to be driving against something that's better than just a numb thing running round in circles. 2 seconds there. He's pulling away from us now. Somebody's just gone to the pits. Who's that? .53 seconds left. We'll be coming round on lap 56. There's 56 as we take to the grass. We've got the fastest lap of the race, 58.2. We never got the 57 that we wanted, but hey ho, we've done alright. Still going to be a victory, folks, and unfortunately it's a victory for no credits because we've won this one before. Mr. Anderson, driver of the day, I'd suggest, of the AI drivers, making his way up from the back of the pack to 11th, and he's pushing Mr. Wilk there for a place as well. And he let me through without me touching him. Miazano's just gone to the pits. He could lose place at this point of the day. I think Mr. Fraga is just up there. Mr. Fraga did well to get ahead of... Well, Mr. Lopez went to the pits, didn't he? Fraga's just finished. That was him in front. And we're going to cross the line off the track. There we go. 56 laps. First was 57 we've done in the past, but there we have it. No new records. Everybody lapped, look. No major dramas. Lapped everybody. They're all one lap down. Fastest lap of 58.288. So, anything else to tell you? No, other than the fact that thank you very much for joining in. If you beat me tonight, well done. Good job. And all the best, folks. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. What do we get? Another 3-star ticket. Yes.